I started floating above my bed. And then in the corner of my eye, I saw my body and I saw Dominic. And I was like, okay. So I floated down. I'm like, okay, let's go down. So I floated down. And then I remember it was kind of like groggy too. And I was like, okay, I got to get out of here before I'm sent back. So I ran through the door and I could feel the wood all over my body. I was like, whoa, this is crazy. And I'm like, and it kind of was like a familiar, like, oh my God, can't say the word.
You got
familiar. It was very familiar. And so I went through it. And then I remember going through my hallway and then turning. And when I turned, I saw my drawing rack. And then in that living room, there was like something there. And I remember looking and I'm like, hey, no, don't focus on that. We got to go. Like, let's touch and feel everything. So then I remember going down the stairs and I was feeling the stairs. I was like this. I was like, I have to make sure I touch everything. So I was touching it. I could feel everything inside the walls. And then when I got to the bottom of the steps, I was like, Chad is here.
Hi everyone, and welcome to another episode of Awaken to Joy. I am Shem.
I am Omondi.
And this week we have another community member, and it's Stacie. Would you like to introduce yourself to everyone?
Hi.
Hi, I'm Stacie. I live in Canada, so Alberta.
Stacie's like really prevalent in the communities, like Sunday chats and parts of like the wider OBE / spiritual awakening community. And if you don't know now, you'll see her in and around all of the internet, and she has wonderful advice and she also has wonderful insights. So she's sharing them today with us. So how are you today?
I'm good. Yeah.
Lovely.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm jumping right in on it. Do you want to start with the first question?
Yeah, why not?
Go on then.
So of course, you're very familiar with OBEs. You had some experiences yourself. But before we actually talk about your experiences when it comes to OBEs, we wanted to know what type of child were you? What's your background? Are you from a religious background or not necessarily?
Yeah.
I grew up in sort of a religious family. Like my dad and my stepmom, who I call my mom because I've known her since I was 5, they were Catholic. And then my biological mom, she became a Christian when I was in grade 5. So, and then as a little kid, I always thought I was adopted. I didn't think this was my family. My parents had me very young. My mom was 17. My dad was 19. And and then when I got a little bit older, like my stepmom, she is more spiritual. So it gave me curiosity as well. So she sees spirits and stuff like that. And she reads like lots of books. And then she likes psychics, and so do I. And just like, so I've always been like that child, very curious of the other side. And yeah.
So you are saying that you always felt like you were adopted. It's kind of like a common trait in Starseed. The feeling that you don't belong, or you're from another place. Is that what you're talking about? Yeah.
Like I used to tell my parents, like, I don't think you're my parents. Like I'm in the wrong household. It was a little dysfunctional too, but like I don't know. I just knew they just weren't my parents. And then yeah. But I love them. But I just knew. I just thought I used to tell my like stepmom, like, I think I'm adopted. Like I don't think they're my parents.
So when you were growing up and you were exposed to all these things, did anything like really pique your interest? But like, because you're saying like, you know, like mediums and stuff like that, were you into it, or was it something that you saw and was like, maybe? Like, what was like fascinating for you, like growing up when it came to that type of stuff?
Just this, I guess, the stories, and then also too, like, I love history, so I'm always wanting to know more information. Like, really, is there a God? Is there this? Like, what is out there? And then I'll tell you, like, one experience where I knew that there are spirits among us. As our dog, he passed away, and they had to put him down. And my parents came home, and they just went into their room and watched TV and stuff. And I was in the living room, and I heard on the door go, ksh, ksh, like, you know, scratches of a heavy dog scratching at the door. And I was like, the other dog is in my parents' room. Who the hell is that? So I grabbed my brother's kitten for protection. I grabbed it, opened the door, nothing was there. And I was like, slammed the door. I was like, oh my God, I ran to my parents' bed. And then they're like, oh, it's their dog. And I was like, he was scratching at the door.
Oh, that's lovely.
So that's actual a physical experience you had. So it's literally, okay. Yeah.
That is it. I love the kitten human shield thing. I love it.
So I wanted to go back into these times where you felt you didn't belong. But also you are referring to your stepmother being, I guess, a big part of your life when it comes to your spirituality and this journey. Always be looking for things, or what people like to say paranormal, like not ordinary stuff, because it's not a given, because some of us sometimes like to comfort ourselves with the natural, the normal. But, you know, you obviously were not the type of child. Did you get in any religion as a result, or did you stay solely spiritual path and self-discovering?
Path.
Yeah. Okay.
I didn't go to religion. Like, when I was younger, of course, they made me go to church, and I hated it. And then, I like my friends, but not.
Okay. Understood.
Yeah.
So when did you first say to yourself, okay, I want to know more now? Like, at what age was that for you, where you were like, you would consider you started like awakening into like, okay, I want to know more. I'm going to have to venture into what this is.
It was a slow process. I would say, what is it? 2022, after my third child, is when everything kind of started accelerating.
Okay.
But back then, I just, I just always had a knowing and a feeling. So I was like spiritually that way. And then, after my third child in 2022, I was like, something was calling me, and I knew it. And I'm like, and I always out loud, I'm like, what are you trying to show me? What are you trying to point to me? Because synchronicities were just happening nonstop. And then, so in 2023, I followed this guy on Instagram called Revival of Wisdom. And then that's when I started learning about I am more than this person, and and I started listening to YouTube videos. Like, I was reprogramming my brain. And then after that awakening happened, I started following Billy Carson. And that's when I started learning about the Anunnakis, Thoth. And then 6 months later, in 2024 in March, I opened my third eye, just random, in our sauna downstairs. I was in the sauna, and I was just like sitting there, and then I just decided to put my hands over my eyes, and I was like laying there, and then I started seeing red dots, like stars everywhere. And I was like, what's that? And I just followed it. And then it led me to a tunnel. And in this tunnel, I felt like I was flying. And I went through this tunnel. And then I saw a visual of a pyramid. And it's like it was like turning. And I was watching it as I was like kind of flying around it. And then I was flying. And then it looked like I was flying. This is the ocean. And then the mountains here. And then vivid colors started piercing, like green. Like I saw trees that were just green. I was like, what is going on? I saw a fish, and then I kind of got out of it, and I just started bawling my eyes out, just crying. And then just like a motion of gratitude and love came out of me. And I was like, what did I just see? What did I just experience? And then afterwards, I kind of like went upstairs, and then I ran into my husband, and then I was just telling him how much I loved him, how much I was so grateful for everything, and just him loving me just unconditionally. And then I was like, oh no, it's coming back. He's like, what is coming back? And I'm like, just crying again, just tears just flowing down my face. And I'm like, I'm sorry, these tears just don't stop.
Oh, that. Do you know what? That is such an endearing story of the third eye opening. And, you hear so many different ones, but that was full of love and compassion and wonder. I'm sure someone's going to like really be like, oh my God, I want to open up my third eye now.
Yeah, well, I was going to say, like, it's one of the most gentle way you got into expanding on your spiritual journey. I mean, you hear often people going through like trauma and big things happening in their life. And often we say during the life that not everything has to be like hard. I mean, I know that it's kind of like the baseline people would like to believe, but a story like that, it brings a lot of comfort because you're thinking, okay, if I want to expand myself, it doesn't have to be difficult, but it could be wonderful. And that's, and I don't want, I don't know all the details. Maybe you had all the details are a lot more difficult, and I'm not trying to say it wasn't. All I'm saying so far, what you've explained is a wonderful journey. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and 6 months after that is when I found Darius. So that was March 2024, and then September is when I had my first out of body. And that's when I explained how my soul just lifted on its own. And then in my head, I was like, is this happening? Is this really happening? And then I floated right back. And then I like opened my eyes. I looked down because my phone flashed. And then it was like 1:11 a.m. And that's when I knew my guides were confirming what I was thinking, that yes, you did float. And then that's when I came across and saw my uncle afterwards in the white room.
So for anybody who hasn't seen your previous testimony about that, would you love to share your story about when you went and saw your uncle with everyone?
Yeah, for sure. So on this day, September 2024, so I was just watching a YouTube video, like Darius's YouTube video on my phone. And my husband, he was sick, so he didn't want to get me sick, so he went to sleep on the couch. And then, so I was by myself, I was watching this video, and then I decided to put it down because I got tired. And I just closed my eyes, and I could feel the tingling through my body. And I was like, okay, this is really strange. And then that's when I started feeling my soul lift up. And I was like, is this happening? Is this really happening? Oh my God. And then so it floated back down. Then I got the confirmation. And then I just went back to sleep, and I could still feel the tinglings through my body. And where I ended up was in a white room. And in this white room, I saw 3 beings in front of me. And I remember like my conscious was like expanded, like I could just see everything. And I remember laughing with that. And then the guy goes, "Do you not remember anything?" And I said, "No, change your face to something I remember." And he was like, his face was like, it was kind of crazy, but it was like this because it was changing. And then across from me, my uncle appeared, and he passed away 3 months before. So, so his passing was fresh. And so when he appeared, he was very young, and he was standing there looking at me, and I was like looking at him, and I was like, "Is that my Tio Marcos?" Like, I was just like blown away. And then afterwards, I like woke up, and I was like, "Oh my God." So then I contacted my brother. My brother confirmed that my uncle also appeared to him in the background, staring at him. And my brother and I are very tight.
All right. Has your brother been on the same or a similar like journey to you? Is he tapped in, or was this through dream state, or was it meditation, or like how did your uncle appear to your brother?
He said he appeared in his dream. So my brother, he's not into any of this, and he's not either religious, but yeah.
Okay. And he appeared in the same way?
In the same day, in the same way, same time. Yeah, and I think like what I intuitively get out of it is that he probably thought something ended. Why is Stacie here? And went to go see my brother to make sure he was okay. That's what I feel happened. Because he's probably like, what? Because my uncle, he's like, I guess he was super religious, like Christian too. So he probably was like, oh my God, how does Stacie already know this?
Is that a twin brother?
No, well, we're kind of almost, but we're like 11 months and 1 day apart.
Yeah. Okay.
So
very close.
11.
Yeah. So I'm April.
11-1.
March.
1-1-1.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Oh my God. I didn't think about that.
That's lovely.
But you obviously have a strong connection with your brother because when you've got this type of event, I mean, yeah, he probably is on his journey, but at some point I think eventually he will connect the dot.
Yeah. And then he can come to me because I keep feeding him little seeds.
But not too much at one time, I guess.
Well, I came at him hard with a whole Anunnaki. I'm like, did you know about the Anunnakis? And he's like, oh my God, you sound like Mom, because she's religious. But he's like, but not really. He's like, Bible thumper, but not really. I was like, oh, you knew it. It's so funny.
When it came to hearing about the Anunnaki and Billy Carson and his introduction to all of like the tablets and stuff like that, was it your love of history that made you want to go down that rabbit hole of like, okay, that's history, like that's ancient history I want to know.
That is the history that I want to listen to. Yeah.
I feel you.
Once, because I read and I listened to the Emerald Tablets of Thoth.
Mm-hmm.
And it didn't really make sense to me back then, but they always say like, just listen to it, read it more and more, and it'll come to you. And then when I found Darius, it just made sense. It just clicked. And I'm like, he's talking about like, here, I have it beside me. And then, so when he says, center thy soul force in the place of thine consciousness, shaking it free from the bonds of the night, place in thy mind place the mind thou desireth, picture the place thou desirest to see, vibrate back and forth with thy power, loosen the soul from out of its night, fiercely must thou shake with all thy power until last thy soul shall be free. That's an out of body.
That's an out of body.
Yeah.
That's an out of body.
Yeah, definitely.
They had to be so poetic back then. Why don't you just say, get out your body?
Yeah.
Why the poetry? You're confusing us.
I keep on thinking the ease it was for you in terms of from like your journey, and it was very smooth, and then you had this out of body experience, and a lot of the thing, the reason why it's not so easy for people is all these things that are always here, telling us about OBEs, period, how real they are, and really like the text you just read, and if you think about it, even Nikola Tesla mentioned his out of body experience. All his knowledge he had, it was from an out of body experience, but it's like we were too blind to see. But telling your story, I feel like it's also showing the world, other people, that you don't have to look far. It's there. It's all there.
It's all within.
It literally is that.
It is that. Like, and I love the fact that you just simplify it and make it so simple and joyful and funny and everyday, because it's not this big antiquated journey and, spending a week in Tibet, though it can be. It's just you with you. And that's beautiful. Once you'd started to have these out-of-body experiences, how did you then navigate your inner body experience? And I know that you'd already opened your third eye, and you'd already been sitting with yourself enough to know that you'd had, your inner body experience. But I know a lot of people have an adjustment period after they come out to come back in and be like, okay, what am I going to do with life? But how were you with that? Because it seems like your gratitude was already really firmly in place with the life you were living. So how's that been for you?
It's been really good. For a while when I was having these experiences, I kept it to myself. And obviously, I joined the community with the great work, the ADA method. And I got to talk to people and tell them about my experience. And then I felt like I had a secret, and I didn't tell my husband. And eventually, a few months has passed, and then we're just talking, and then I'm like, I feel like I have to tell you something. And he's like, okay. And then my kids are there, and I was just bawling my eyes out, and he's like, you took the red pill, hey? I was like, yeah. I was like, I feel like I was keeping this secret from you. I'm having out of bodies. I don't know what's happening. I'm like, I've opened up something.
I love the way that he already knew.
He's just like, something's different. It's still myself, but he's like, because it'd be funny, because the first bit when I opened my third eye, I just go to the sauna, keep doing it. I'm like, I just wanted to see. And then I'd come up and tell him, I'm on the right path. And then all this stuff. And he's like, and he's like, you sound I don't know how to say, but he's like, you sound kind of like a Bible thumper, but you're not. I'm just on this journey, just I don't know.
So, and that's the thing as well. Sometimes you do these things and people expect you to sign them up to something or whip out something, and you don't have anything to whip out. You just there being like, this is amazing. This is a story about how amazing it is. Okay, nothing. Okay. And then they're like, oh.
I'm just on my
So did you experience any sleep paralysis during your first OBE?
Well, actually, the first conscious one was in September. And but I remember a time in 2015, I was in the UK for my best friend's wedding, and I was in Cheshire.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Cheshire.
Yeah, Cheshire. Thank you.
It's okay.
And then in this place where her wedding was, it was old, and then so this one building was old, and then the other building was brand new. And I was like talking with the people that work there, and they were telling me how they seen spirits show up on the CCTVs, and when they went to go check, no one was there. And so I was like trying to like, oh yeah, really? Because I love ghost stories too. And so after a couple days after, I was at my friend's house, and then I remember sleeping on my side, and I heard people talking beside me. And I was like, when I was like waking up, I was like, that doesn't sound like Camilla or Craig. I'm like, who's that? And they're like, oh, she's awake. I was like, what do you mean she's awake? And then my body, I guess I was in sleep paralysis because my body just turned and went out in my back. And I remember just like, I thought I was scared to death. That's why I couldn't move. But really it was sleep paralysis. And then the lady's voice comes right beside my ear and goes, can I lay with you? And I was like, no, go away. Like, because my mouth was sealed. I was like, no, go away. And I had my eyes closed the whole time. I didn't want to see them or anything. And then I remember being released because they left. And then my body released. And I like turned to the side, and I didn't want to open for like an hour. And that's when I like messaged my mom, like my stepmom. And I was like, something was here. And they was trying to ask me, like, she wanted to sleep with, like, lay with me. And then she was like, oh, just tell it to go away. And then just get white light around you and just say you do not wish to communicate. And then I guess I closed that door so no one could communicate. And then that's when, yeah. So that was like my first experience.
That'll do it.
I was like, what is that?
So at the time, I guess you were not sure if that was an out or in-body experience as the person. Like you felt it was probably just a ghost, but it was still in your body. Is that really what happened?
I heard the two, like, I knew there was two spirits there, so two ghosts talking amongst themselves. And then I was like, and then they knew I was awake. And then that's when she came to my ear to ask me that question.
Right. And you mean awake in terms of like one foot on the other side and
yeah,
you know,
so
and then,
yeah,
okay, yeah, we understand. Yeah, okay, that's. Yeah, it's a great debut.
I like ran to my girlfriend's room, and I was just like crying, and she's like, Stacie, there's such a thing as ghosts. I was like bawling my eyes out. It's like, it was real. It was right there. Like, I don't know. It followed me from that hotel.
It's a good deal. You were like, didn't tell her, no, it lives here. It's here. Like, you should have been like,
because the people that we were talking about was a man and a woman. And so I think they might have wanted to communicate with me.
Oh.
Yeah. And I was scared.
And this is when you investigate. Sometimes when you investigate, these things will be like, oh, she's interested.
Yeah.
A candidate, she will listen. And then they turn up.
Yeah. Sometimes they know when you're the frequency match. So they just, they're aware of it. Yeah.
Okay. So fast forward now to you doing OBEs more regularly. What is that like for you on a daily basis, and how do you use them for your waking life as well? If at all, maybe you just use them for experiences, but how do you integrate the experiences that you have?
Just knowing, like, I just have more knowing now, just more knowledge, more knowing, and more truth. So I just walk day to day as like I'm present and just try to give love to everyone that comes in contact with me. I just spread love wherever I go, really. And that's just who I've always been. It's just been my character, just being this bubbly, positive person. And I just choose to be that person all the time. And yeah, that's just, I don't know if it hasn't really changed me much. I am still that same person, but just not serious here and more present and just spreading love any direction. I can give.
That is beautiful. And I know that you shared your story about your little dog that passed away and your son. For those who haven't heard it, do you mind to share that again with us? Like,
Yeah.
such a beautiful story. And I know there's so many pet parents out there, dog and cat mums and dads. So, like, if you don't mind to share that, that would be lovely.
Yeah. I'm just going to
Sure.
make sure I find it and then I don't miss anything, because that was my favorite experience too.
It's just lovely. Though I like the purple balloon one as well, but still.
Yeah. Like,
It was like, oh, balloon.
that was like the most physical ever. Like, I'll share that one too.
Okay, cool.
You
All
just
right.
ask which ones, I'll share.
Okay, all right.
Well, one of the first questions I was going to ask is, was it every time intentional or it just happened?
I set an intention. I feel like that's my little superpower, is I set the intention, and then whenever it happens, it happens. But if I set the intention out, and I've tried to practice before, but I think like parts of me floats up and then I just get distracted. But it's just mostly setting an intention, and my body my soul just knows what to do.
Okay.
It's actually quite relevant what you're saying. Like, your soul just know what to do, because I've mentioned before about feeling that you're on automation,
Autopilot.
I don't know how to describe it, but it feels a bit that way. Is that, it's like you know everything. But go ahead.
So on June 2nd, 2025, that afternoon, I put my son for a nap and I got stuff done around the house. And then I decided, okay, I have time. I can practice. I set an intention. I said, okay, I want to see my dog Brooklyn, and I want to know my real name on the other side. So I went to go lie down and I set this meditation on. And I remember just drifting off, and like parts of my body were lifting. And then I heard my son wake up. And when I picked up my phone, it was 2:23 p.m. And so I was like, hey, I go upstairs. I changed him. And he goes, Mom, like Brooklyn woke me up. That was in my head. I was like, oh my God, Brooklyn heard me and he woke him up for me. You know, that's what I thought. They saw each other. And then he's like, Brooklyn woke me up licking my hands. I was like, oh my God, you're so lucky. You got to see Brooklyn. Oh, that's amazing. And I'm like, and then he kind of like left it at that. And then we got him dressed and then we went to go pick up the boys from school. And then he was playing. And then I saw him get up because I was making dinner. He gets up and he goes, Mom, Brooklyn woke me up. And I was like, I know, buddy, that's amazing. And he goes, but he woke me up to take me downstairs. I was like, downstairs? And he's like, yeah, we saw you sleeping. I was like, you saw me sleeping? Where? And he's like, right there on that couch. Because I asked him which couch, because we have a couch, living room upstairs and then here. I was like, oh, okay. And he goes, Brooklyn wanted me to tell you that he loves you. And then he wanted me to tell you that he loves you so much. And I was like, oh my, thank you. And then he said he was laying beside me and he was licking my face. And I was like, and I'm like, where were you? And he's like, I was sitting on the couch by your feet. And I was like, oh my, thank you. And then I was just bawling my eyes out. And he's like, Mom, are you sad? You're crying. And I was like, I'm not sad. Like, these are just happy tears. And you just gave me confirmation of what I've been trying. Like, I've been trying to see him and you saw him first. And I'm just so happy, buddy. And then he's, yeah, and I just gave him like the biggest hug ever. And I was just like, oh, it's just, yeah. So he took him out of his body. Yeah, this is the first time I haven't cried. Usually when I tell the story, I'm always in tears.
It's so beautiful.
Yeah,
It's a testimony to how pets are part of our family and our connection to them just energetically as like a group, like as a household. Just it's so heartwarming. Yeah, it's lovely. I love that story.
Also, your son has been having OBEs. Was he aware of it? Did you let him know at the time, or it was just coincidental?
He's going to turn 4, but he was only 3 when he told me. So last year, yeah. So he was like, yeah. And he was there when our dog passed away, because we had to put him down because his trachea had collapsed and he was no longer breathing. He was just like wheezing. So we took him to the vet thinking they're just going to inject something in him and he'll be okay. But no, that's the day that we lost him. And then he saw how emotional we were on. He also didn't eat. Like I think he was only 2 years old. Yeah, 2 years old, because I was still breastfeeding. And that's all he did for 2 weeks was just breastfeed. And because he was also grieving as well.
Yeah.
So he wasn't aware of OBEs at the time. So it was it was a genuine, which in a way made it even more real for you, because you didn't really, one, expect it, but two, also let him know what that was necessarily before he even had the experience. And that's fantastic experience to have. Yeah.
I can share something else. My eldest had an out of body the same month I did, in September in 2024.
Okay.
Like
how
literally
old was
2
he
weeks
at the time?
apart. He was 8.
Does he know about them, or was it something that was like, oh, like how are you with like letting them know about that? Yeah.
I would play the YouTube videos, like out of bodies and like Darius interviews. That's when I first started learning about him, and I'd just play in the car because I was like addicted. I was like, I need to know more. And so I also having that around the background, I think he's probably picked it up, and then his soul is like, hey, let's go, let's do something. In this experience, he went for a nap, because I made them like all go for a nap, and then he woke up just bawling his eyes out, and I was like, what happened? And he's just like, big black hole in front of me. I was like, what? And then he's like, and then afterwards I got it out of him. He was in front of a big black portal and he was scared. And I was like, next time when that appears, just demand or command where you want to go. And then, or come to me, say, I want to see my mom, and then jump in, and then you'll come to me. He's like, okay. And so that happened. And then in this past summer, in July, I would say, he had another experience where he said he was laying down and he felt his soul go up, raise up, and go back down. And then that was his release.
Ooh. What's beautiful about it is the fact that he has you there to kind of to guide him. So when these things happen, he doesn't have to do it through a lens of like fear, or he doesn't have to keep it to himself, and he can just have an explanation to kind of steady his mind as to like what's going on. So he doesn't like read it as something being wrong or anything harmful. So he can kind of like, I don't know, by the time he's whatever age, he'll be like, okay, like this is just what this is. It's beautiful.
And I'm very open with them too as well. Like I share my experiences with them. I was teaching them how to open their third eye, and they see the stars and images as well. So
that's beautiful.
Yeah, and I think a lot of things are activation as well. So if you run someone that has certain frequency or vibrate at a certain frequency, then what happened in the family specifically as well is contagious. So, it was going to happen for sure. I mean, they have a mother like you that's already into that stuff, because at the end of the day, you even mentioned your stepmother. She's in that stuff, so it's no coincidence. Yeah.
It's lovely.
Yeah.
How has your relationship with your kids and your other family members also altered? And I know that you have this frequency of being a bubbly person and loving anyway. How has that helped for your day-to-day understanding? Because sometimes just like life for life, and you can get caught up in some of the happenings that happen here. Has it allowed you to kind of just step into more of your power and more of your gratitude? Where is that with you and your closer relationships? Because it seems like it's just been a wonderful transition for you.
It's a lot of gratitude. Like, even when I'm just sitting there and I'm staring at my kids, and I'm just like, I'm just so happy they chose me and I chose them. Like, we're just all meant to be together.
That is really, really beautiful. Okay, so do you have any? I noticed that you were saying like, I'm not like meant to be in this like family. Like, I'm adopted. Like, love them. I'm adopted, and
Yeah.
I know that you went like the Billy Carson way and like Anunnaki. Where are you with your galactic journey in that history, galactic history?
I have no idea, but I'm open to receiving. I have no idea.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Okay, so I'll share this. When I was listening to your meditation, I did like the close eye. Like, I saw like a big eye. I don't know if I saw like a dragon eye or something, but I saw a big eye just like looking at me, and I'm like, whoa, who's this? And I'm like, okay, and then I kind of like kind of made it like go away, and then that's when I saw the trees again, and I was flying. So I was trying to see where your meditation was taking me.
Hi, and now for a very important announcement. We've noticed that half of you are not subscribed, but you are watching. And we know it's not deliberate. I do it all the time. So check if you're subscribed, and if not, press the subscribe button, then the notification bell. And that way, when we go live on Sundays, or we do a Catch Us If You Can, you won't miss it.
If you love to support our channel, you can go on our Ko-Fi where you can buy us a cup of coffee. You also can join our Discord, and you also can become a Sovereign Soul platform member. Thank you, and back to the show.
That's wonderful, because I know when it was received, it was very much like, this is an activation, and it will do what it has to do per person and their own agreement. So it's lovely to hear everyone's individual take on it, because I know that was what it was meant for. It's not, I'll do this, do that, go there, go here. It's not, there's no instruction. It's just let it happen. And that's lovely. That's really interesting that's really, really interesting to hear.
I actually wanted to go back to you, Obi, about the balloon.
Okay.
You were saying that it was a very physical experience. Do you mind to tell us a bit more about it?
Yeah, sure. So that day was November 8th. Sorry, it's too much stuff in my book.
Oh no, it says this is fine.
Okay. Yeah, so November 8th. This day, I had my middle child sleeping beside me, and then Chad was there, and then he woke up early, and then I felt him wake up, and I like kind of opened my eyes to see, and then I was like, I'm not ready to wake up. Like, and then I kind of was like, you know what? I haven't had an out of body in a while. Like, you know what? If it happens, it happens, but I'm going back to sleep. And I went back to sleep, and then I ended up in a rowboat, and I remember like looking down into the ocean, and I was like, I'm going to go down there. I want to see what's down there. So I like dove down, and I could feel the water. It was cool. And then I kind of like just stopped, and then there was like hundreds of whales, like big whales all around me, and they were just like swimming. And I just remember standing there like, whoa, like this is crazy. Like, I'm actually here. And then fear started kicking in a little, because I was like, I'm actually in the ocean and I see these whales. I'm like, Kate, relax. they're just big. That's what whales look like. They're massive. So I was like, okay, I don't want to be here anymore. So I stuck my arms in the air and I went, woof. I like flew out. And then I started floating above my bed. And then in the corner of my eye, I saw my body and I saw Dominic. And then I was like, okay. So I floated down. I'm like, okay, let's go down. So I floated down. And then I remember it was kind of like groggy too. And I was like, okay, I got to get out of here before I'm sent back. So I ran through the door and I could feel the wood all over my body. I was like, whoa, this is crazy. And I'm like, and it kind of was like a familiar, like, God, can't say the word, familiar. It was very familiar. And so I went through it. And then I remember going through my hallway and then turning. And when I turned, I saw my drawing rack. And then in that living room, there was like something there. And I remember looking and I'm like, hey, no, don't focus on that. We got to go. Like, let's touch and feel everything. So then I remember going down the stairs and I was feeling the stairs. I was like this. I was like, I have to make sure I touch everything. So I was touching it. I could feel everything inside the walls. And then when I got to the bottom of the steps, I was like, Chad is here. I'm going to see if he can sense me. And then when I looked at the hallway, it was kind of dark. And I was like, and it was empty and no one was there. And I was like, what? This is weird. I'm like, whatever, just go with it. Just go. So I floated through the hallway. I ended up in the middle here and everything was empty. There's nothing here. But I could see all this was here, the shelves. And then I remember staring at the top and there was a different light and I go, turn on. But nothing happened. And I was like, more clarity. And I was like, just spitting things out that I remembered because I was like, I gotta hurry up. And then so like nothing happened. And then I was like, hello. I'm like, I don't want to hear anyone. So I was like, fear started kicking in. I was like, oh, okay, I should get out of here. And then I went through these walls or this door, the French doors, and there's glass here. And I felt the smoothness of the glass and I like pushed myself out. And then I got outside and the fence is a lot taller than the other place. And then there's a gazebo in the corner. And I was like, a gazebo, like a crazy. And it gave off light. So it was a little bit lighter. And that's where I saw the balloons like floating. Just like they were on the fence and they were just like this. And I was like, oh, balloons. And then I went to the balloons, jumped up, grabbed them. And then poof, I was back in my body.
You had me at gazebo.
I didn't see anyone at the gazebo, but I was like,
right.
I was actually going to ask, is that from a dream state or did you leave your body? What type of experience was it?
It was very physical.
No, I mean, did you have that OBE from a dream state where you were from a dream and you know, became conscious, or was it you just found yourself there?
I was conscious the whole time in the ocean, and I was conscious when I was floating above my body as well.
So you fell back asleep, and was it you were just conscious?
I was just right in the boat. Yeah, I was just in the boat, and I was like, where am I?
It's interesting because there's different ways to experience an OBE, and that's a particular way. We don't hear it often where you just boop.
No,
just
that's my favorite way.
That's usually what you experience all the time.
Yeah.
But yeah, that is great. So it sounded effortless.
I just set an intention, and then I ended up in the ocean all by myself in its rowboat, and I was like, and then my soul already knew, let's go down, and so I went down, and then yeah.
Have you had time to reflect on it? Like, for instance, you are talking about the light. You trying to command, more light and clarity.
Yeah, because I was trying to turn on the light because it was a little dark, and then I could feel my mouth go, like, because I was like, oh, like so. So I think the fear was trying to make my physical mouth move. That's when I said hello. I heard the echo. Like in my living room. Yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting because when I had an OBE and I wanted to fly, and the reason I couldn't fly is because I had a doubt in my head. a little. So when I jumped, I just didn't go up at all. And I was like, oh, that's going to hurt when I was landing. So I kind of like felt the pain, but I wasn't in pain. It's a bit weird feeling, but just like a little doubt would just not work. You really have to be in full command, and
that's why she shot up out the water.
Right.
That was like on some.
Right. Yeah, that's a great experience though, because you got to feel everything, and the ocean as well. The water being cold. But you're brave because going deep in the water and it's cold. It's not for everyone.
Yeah, and like seeing the whales too. But I noticed that they I don't know if they saw me or anything, but I was like looking at them, and they're just above, swimming, just like all around, just like I was just in the middle, and everyone was doing their own thing.
That's a great experience.
People pay a lot to just go and experience swimming with whales, and there you are.
Massive.
Just boom, nailed it.
Right? Have you been able to go back, like say revisit the same experience? Have you been able to experience that?
Or anything similar? Okay.
Yeah.
Have you...
New stuff just always happen.
Okay.
Have you got any experiences that you wish to share that maybe you haven't shared yet, or you think that is going to be even more heartwarming than your other two have been? Like, they just... Okay, have you got any more that you would love to share? Because your stories are so endearing. If you have anything more, that would be lovely to hear.
Yeah, sure. I'll hear. You know which one I shared with you guys in the group or on your live? Is when I was in a dream, and in this dream, I was with my in-laws, and I was barbecuing in a room. And I was like, hey, it was weird. But it was like coals. And I remember I was barbecuing lettuce, like romaine lettuce. And then I was moving it. And then the light above me kind of like dimmed. And I was like, where'd the lights go? And the barbecue wasn't making any smoke. It was just fire. And so I went to go turn the light on, the light switch. I felt someone's hand already on there. And I went, whoa, what was that? And then I kind of was like, okay, it's weird. So I went back to the barbecue, and then this cloud started forming. Like, it just appeared, and it was a white mist cloud. And then I could feel it was someone, and it felt young, and it felt masculine. And I was like, go away. And in my body, my mouth was sealed again, right? Because it's sleep paralysis. And I was trying to talk through my physical body. It's like, go away. And then it went poof, and it was gone. And then the reason why I bring up that experience is because in 2021, my grandpa is my stepmom's dad. He appeared to me physical. And he was also a mist in a cloud in my dream. And in this dream, it was Thanksgiving in this dream. And he wasn't there. It was like the whole family, like my aunt, my uncle, my grandma, my mom, my dad, my brother, and my cousin, and my other brothers. And then I kept saying, there's this mist following me around. What is this? And then I was like, and I kept saying, like, I think Grandpa's here, like, because he keeps following me. And I was like, and then I just felt like it was him. And then we all sat down on the couch, and it was kind of like this, like a U shape, and everyone sat down. And then the mist came to the center. And then I was like, oh, it's Grandpa. And everyone was like, yeah, it is Grandpa. And then he appeared, like I saw him, and I closed my eyes right away. And he's like, Stacie, don't be scared. It's okay. And then I like put my hands down, and I saw him, and I was like crying. And I was like, I miss you. I'm like, I miss you so much. He's like, don't worry. And I'm like, are you watching over my boys? He's like, I'm always watching over them. And I was just like, oh. And then I woke up, and I was crying, like, in my physical body. And I woke up with tears in my eyes, and I was just like, oh my God, that was real. So there's that experience too.
Yeah, I can relate to this type of experience when you meet someone on the other side. Yeah.
Yeah. Do they come in a form of a mist to you first and then they appear?
Yeah. No, for me, no. I just actually found myself, it was my foster father. And I remember that was before he actually passed away, but it was a few hours before. And he came to me. And I just appeared there. And I remember that I was a child. Yeah, I felt like I was a child. He was very, very tall, and he held me by his hand. And I was like, "Oh, you," because he was 6 at the time. So I was very surprised. I said, "Oh my God, you fine? You're so strong." And he was smiling at me. And that whole experience, bear in mind, at the time I didn't know about OBEs, so I just say, "Oh, that's a dream. That's a dream." Then I realized, no, it's a bit more than that.
I told my mom, my stepmom, and then she told me, no, he physically showed up to you in your dream. And that's when, because she's like, if you were crying and it was real, it was physically real. It's just like, oh, okay. So she gave me confirmation of that.
Absolutely, it definitely is this, because then I rang up my foster mother, and then he just passed away like 30 minutes just before I rang. So I was like, okay. So that was very, and obviously Shem had similar experience as well. So she let me know, like, you know what that means, right? And I was like, yeah, I kind of know.
He didn't want to, because obviously that would mean that he's passed away.
But I tell you, at the time for me, what it was is because he didn't pass away, but I know he wasn't well. And at the time I remember saying to myself, but hang on, he's not well though. That while I was having that experience. But then, when you come back to that reality, you realize, okay, this is not what I think it is. But yeah, but Shem had the same. You actually had the all life reviews as well. And
you've had a life review? I haven't had one yet.
Okay, I've had my first experience of life review was actually my friend's life review, and I heard that he'd passed away, and it was at a time. It was before the internets were the way they are. Okay, it was just way before that. It was like 20 years ago, and he passed away, and it's like, back then you hear people passed and you may get a phone call, but you don't get to check like their Facebook or anything like that to see or whatever. So I didn't really believe it, because the way everyone was talking about it was just too gossipy. And I was like, no, I don't see it. I don't believe it. And then I went to sleep, and then when I was woken up and it was him, and I was like, oh, thank God. Like I thought you were gone, and he was like, Shem. And then he took me into a room, and he sat me down into this huge, huge screen, and he basically popped in a DVD, and he played me like his life. And I was like, hang on, is this you? And he's like, yeah. And he was like, fast forwarding it. And I was like, how are you? And he was like, no, just watch. And I at the moment, I was like, weird dream. Though it felt real, because he would take the time to just be like, all right. And just to kind of like brace me for each moment. And then he showed me the moment that he'd passed away, and it was an accident. It was like a vehicle accident. And I turned away at that point that he was going to pass. And he said, no, you don't have to. It didn't hurt. And he rewound it again, and he sat there. He said, look. I said, I don't like horror movies. And he was like, hey, this is like, hey, like, this is not a horror movie. Like, watch it. And then he's like, see, he was like, by this time, I didn't feel anything. Like I was here. And I was like, I was already watching it. And he was like, I didn't feel anything. And he was like, and I said, are you sure? He was like, I'm so good right now. I'm like really, really, really good. And I was like, well, as long as you're good, And he was like, I'm good. And then he hugged me and I felt everything. And then I woke up the next morning still like I was hugging him, and I was like, oh, and it was like, and I was like shouting like to Omondi, oh my God, I just had something, but it was not a dream. It was not. I felt everything. And I was like kind of maniac saying it. Like I kept on repeating myself because it was like the realest I'd ever had. And I didn't know about life reviews yet. I didn't know about OBEs yet. I just knew that it was again another very, very non-dreamy dream. And that's my first thing into life reviews. Are you interested in life reviews for yourself, or have you had an experience like that for anybody else?
No, I haven't had an experience like that or anyone, but I would like to see my life review and make sure I'm on the right path. It's like, I already know what I fucked up.
I think that I've had some, but they've all been about past lives that I've had. None of them have really been on this life, and I don't think I care for one this time for myself. I kind of just want to go by whatever my discernment is like here. If I get ones on past lives, they've been varied, but they're not. If you're not ready to like be really forgiving and loving to yourself about some storylines you're going to see, they can be jarring. Like,
yeah, yeah,
to say the least. Like, you have to sit there and be like, okay, well, I did that. That happened, and like love yourself anyway. But how do you feel? Have you had instances where you've not had life reviews but had past lives or things where it's like, oh wow, I don't remember being here, but it's familiar? How's that been for you? Have you commanded that? Are you interested?
A little interested, but yeah, none of that has happened to me yet. No, just most of my like. I'll tell you this one weird experience that happened to me in July, this summer in 2025. I was like in between awake and sleep, and I remember waking up where I was in this dream that I was in the beach. My hair was short, and I remember just like kind of flicking my hair and just like, oh, my hair is short. And I was sitting on the beach chatting it up. And then all of a sudden, like as I'm kind of waking up, I felt my body like vibrate. And then I felt this whoosh of energy, just like I felt like the wind was on me. And then I felt like I was at fast forward, like remote viewing, because it was like circular. And then it was just like I could see visuals of different scenes happening right in front of me. And they were just like, and I remember like waking up, I'm like, what was that? Like that was intense and crazy, because it was just ovals just flashing right through me as I was waking up, and I could feel the wind, and I was like, and then I woke up and I was like, oh my God. So I don't know what I saw or what I experienced, but it was intense.
Sounds like when you go through different dimensions, to me, sounds a lot like, because I had instances where it was like about, I guess for me to know, not that I really asked for it, but I had to experience whatever that was at the time. And without judgments, it was like I was forced to do it without judgment as well. It felt like, wow, I have to handle this without judgment. And then as I leave the experience, every time I was trying to hold on to more details, it's like a sort of a flicking. I can't even grasp the images. It's like a sort of flicking in front of the third eyes, and I cannot. Yeah. I was just like, oh no, I need to get more details, and then
because it was just going so fast.
I woke up so fast. It's like and I realized after a while, having several of them, I realized that it's like sort of like when you quantum jump and experience different things, you need to know and you need to recollect certain experiences you had. That's how I could explain it, like almost as if they're your children, and you're trying all these experiences, you're trying to bring it back to you. And that is that's the best way I can explain it. So I don't know if it's exactly the same for you, but it sounds very familiar. Yeah. And some of these experiences, even one of them, I just came out of the avatar, which allowed me to realize it wasn't me, which made me feel in a way a bit better about the experience. So I literally left the body, and then I woke up, and then I was trying to again hang on to the details, and I couldn't do that. Yeah. So yeah, it sounds a lot like that.
You in one of the chats that we had, you shared something about lucidity, and you've had such lovely experiences. What do you personally do for your lucidity or your dream recall or your experience recall, if anything at all?
I don't know if I do anything special or anything. I just go with it, and then so I think the one that you're talking about is the one time that I was running away from my friend in the dream, and that's when I became 100% conscious. That one, Kate.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah. So so in the dream, I was in an apartment, and I was running in the hallway, running away from my friend, and I was just like, and then I stopped myself, and I was like, I got 100% conscious, because I was like, whoa, why am I running away from her? Like, that's crazy. So I decided to hide behind a wall, and then kind of jump out and scare her, and just like, hey, she's like, you were running away. I was like, I know, I'm sorry. And then she came out with these like champagne flutes, but had flowers on them. And I tried smelling it, and then it didn't really smell anything. It looked like gel inside these champagne flutes. And I remember specifically the champagne flutes had gold rim. And I was like, and then I saw a door open too. I saw this door that was open when I went to go hide and then jump out at her. And I was like, hey, let's go to my apartment. Like, let's go in here. And then I opened the door, and in this scene, I was in Vancouver, because that's where I know her from. And so we're like back home. And then I remember walking in, and then there was 2 big tables, like round tables full of teacups and like kettles, and just like cutest purple, pink teacups. I'm like, wow, I'm like, this apartment's so nice. And it had big window. And then we're walking in, and she goes, oh my God, your apartment's so cute. I was like, I know, right? This is adorable. And then I look at the wall. She went to go sit on the couch. And then I look at the wall, and there's pictures of these guys. And I was like, no, I want this apartment. And I'm like, so I made one wall. I was like, change of me. And it's like, all pictures of me. And I turned to the other wall, and it was massive. And it was this big pictures. And I was like, change of me. And like nothing was happening. I was like, okay, weird. So I grabbed one of the picture frames, and I was like, change pictures of me. And then it just started like digital, just going fast forward. Pictures of me when I was younger. I saw a picture of me with my uncle where he was holding me. And then after, like, as I was like focusing so hard, I like woke up in my body, and I was like, I ruined it. I was focusing too hard. I put too much pressure, and then I like woke up. I was like, damn. I wanted to go somewhere or do something. So I remember just because I remember going, I want 100% consciousness here. And I remember saying that again. And then that's when I grabbed the picture frame, and I was just like, change pictures of me. And it was like, yeah.
I was going to ask as well, do you think that the experiences you have are relevant to your life right now, or it's random for you?
It's pretty random, I feel, because in another experience too, if anyone wants to watch, on Corey's, when I shared my testimony with Corey, I came across Seraphic in that experience, and it was very, very massive. Like, it was the biggest being I've ever seen in my life. And I think that's what scared me too. And it was hooded. But it also, like, I remember zooming into the fabric of the cloak, and it looked old, and it was very dark, dark red. And then I just remember waking up like saying, what the F was that? And bringing that up, I had another dream where I became like, so this was after my like that out of body with the balloons. That was November 8th. On November 22nd, that night I set an intention to leave my body or just to become conscious in my dream. And when I fell asleep, I dreamt I was in my house, and Chad and I were packing to go to Costa Rica. And I remember like trying to find the passports. And I'm like, oh, I'm forgetting my sandals. Oh, I'm forgetting my shorts. And I'm just trying to run around the house to grab all our stuff. And we're walking out the front door. And I remember Chad going, he's like, he walks out first and had in front of me. And then he goes, whoa, look at that. I was like, what? And then I step outside. I look at outside, and it was dark in my dream. And I look up, and it was bright, very, very vivid. Like, it was like brightest day. And then I saw this sphere. It was massive. Like, it was a big sphere. It was bright, and it was blue, and it was like, it was twirling. Like, it was like mechanical. It was like, and then all I remember saying is like, oh my God, they're here. And then I woke up, and my body was tingling. And I was just so excited when I woke up that I couldn't put myself back to sleep so I can go back and see. And yeah, and I like Darius shared on a YouTube interview with someone, I don't remember who, but he was talking about the Seraphics, how they come in forms of an orb, or it's like in here. I think I took a picture to show you.
You kind of play down your stories like, oh, just firstly, let's touch on whales, okay? And then let's just decorating in the dopest way. Just like change the wall and listen. That it's just the speed of that decorating is beautiful. And then now Seraphim, that is.
Yeah, I feel like they are trying to communicate with me, because I tried the first time and I got scared. And then it came into a sphere, and I just knew, like, it's like my soul already knew. It's like, it's that, because I remember saying, oh, they're already here. So I don't know if it had to do with 3i Atlas or what, but I said, they are already here. And then I woke up. So my soul knows what it was. I physically don't know what it is, and I'm like searching, and then when I saw Darius pull up that picture, I was like, oh, that's what I saw.
I see it.
Okay, I see it. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. That's
yes.
what I do.
So
did your one have did your one have like eyes on it, or
no,
other bits of light on it in any way, like on the strips of the sphere, or any like gold?
It was
color,
just blue.
Any other color? Okay.
Just blue.
So you know what?
And it's like the center was bright, but it was also all bright. I'm just trying to remember. It's like mechanical. It's like like that.
I actually going to ask you also about lucidity. Have you noticed during your experience, like ways in which you can, get more lucidity? Because there's obviously the pre-OBE or pre-dream state, and it is while you're in it as well.
You've been doing your commands,
and
yeah.
Is there something you've noticed that you can do? It's just to share with the community at large that will actually help. Some say, well, rub your hands together, or that's something you personally noticed.
For me, while in my dream, I just become aware. Like, okay, I'm here. So this is different. And then that's when I start making commands, right? So like saying like, I want full 100% consciousness, or I just become conscious. I just know I'm there. And that's how I like how I work my lucid dreaming. Is like, I know I'm physically here. And that's when I can just move about.
Would you say that your curiosity, your willingness, and your excitement actually help? Because it sounds like you've been, all right, because it sounds like you've been very excited. You got us excited by your experience. I mean, every single experiences you have, we're like, okay, tell us more.
I was like, gazebo. I was like, photos. I was like, running.
I've become very aware inside, and I get excited. I'm just a very excited person as well. Like, if you ever see me, I'm just like, everyone's like, oh my God, Stacie's so hyper. I'm like, that's just who I am.
Relatable.
So I also wanted to, you mentioned your son practicing mindsight as well.
Yes.
We wanted to actually let you explain what was your experience about this and your son's experience as well.
Yeah.
So Darius had a webinar about telepathy, mindsight. So after it, I started testing it on my kids. I'd be like, okay, where do you think I'm tapping you, left or right? And then we'd play that game, and he'd be like, bam, bam, bam. Like, I was like, okay, this guy is getting it. And then I decided to buy a mindfold, and I was like, hey, let's do something else. And so, are you still there? Oh, it froze.
Yeah.
And then, so we did that, and then he started seeing colors right away. I was like, whoa, like, he's getting it right off the bat. So then we went, and afterwards I'm like, okay, awesome. And then I kind of like left it be. And then we had another Seeing Without Eyes class for just children. And so we did that for the summer. And I started practicing with him, and I practiced with Dominic and Orlando, but Maxwell was more, I don't know, he just gets it right away. So then I was like, okay, sweet, let's try something different. I got hats. We got different colored hats, and then I rearranged them, and then I was like, tell me the colors. And he's like, bam, bam, bam. And I was like, this is too easy. I got to challenge him again. So I was like, all right, let's do something else. And then I started using the whiteboard, and I was writing stuff, and he'd be like, oh, this word, this word. I was like, all right, like, what else can you do? So I grabbed a book, and I was like, Maxwell, let's see if you can read the sentence. And he like read the book right in front of us. I was like, wow, Mike, you are just blowing it out of the park. Then so I bought colored balls. And so he would say the color, and then I would throw it, he would catch it. And so we played pass. So we started playing pass together. And then we would hide around the house. He would find us. And then I was like, so what do you see when you're trying to find us? He's like, you're a flicker of light. And that's how I find you. I was like, okay, sweet. And so we were doing it last week again. And I asked him, like, can you physically see my face now? He's like, yeah, I can see your whole body. So I was like, that's amazing. And then middle child and the little baby guy, he's not really a baby anymore, but they see color. So they'll, like, if I go like this, I'm like, what is this? And then they'll see like a little tiny pinhole. It started off with a small pinhole. And so with Maxwell it was small, and then it got bigger, and then just got big. So it's like a TV screen, he calls it. That's why he goes like this, and then he looks up, because he's using he's just moving it around. And so the little guys still have pinholes, but we haven't been working on it as much, but in the summer, he developed a sight in the back. So that's Maxwell. He got here, and it was small, and then it became big, and so he can see back here. And so what I would love to do for him is also get sight here, so then he has all this. Yeah.
Okay, that is really interesting. Yeah, I was actually now.
I love that. That for them, even for the games.
Yeah,
just like, for the games alone, like that's hide and seek. Like no one, he's winning every time. It's lovely.
I was going to ask about, this experience you're having with your children. How do you view now education? Because that must change your perception on that as well. Specifically when you were mentioning history as well about the Anunnaki. I mean, we know that you're not going to find this information going to school. So what's your perception on that?
So they are still in school, but when they come home, I just deprogram them. I say, what you learned is not true. I say, always challenge what your teachers tell you. Like, there's nothing wrong with questioning or asking more questions. It's like, think for yourself, go within and feel, does this feel true? And so, yeah, most of the time I'm just deprogramming them. Like, the world's flat. I'm like, you can't get out of here.
Well, it is true that, once you find out about these informations, all these things, it's difficult to unsee it, near impossible, matter of fact. So you do have to adapt, adaptability, I think, amongst your family, your loved ones, your friends, even your colleague is quite important, because you do have to learn how to bridge in order to function sometimes. So, this is why we ask that question.
I would love to homeschool them, but I don't know if I have the patience. Or maybe I don't know. I don't know how you guys do it. How do you do it? You have 3 children too, right?
4 now.
We have to let go of a lot of things. There's you can only begin to deprogram your children to a certain amount, providing you do that for yourself. So there was a lot of beliefs we had to let go in order to make it way smoother and easier for ourselves. And part of the resistance was from us. I mean, you try to blame the children, but you don't want to do nothing. You don't want to learn and that and so on. But it is from you first. And then we had to let go of that. And that is a challenge in itself.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's why it was for us first.
And then my one was like, don't be judgy. Like, because I was like judging the whole entire thing. Like I was judgy, not about keeping them in school. I was judgy about keeping them from school. Like, I was like, but how will they socialize, and how will they?
My husband.
And how will they? Like, they're going to be weird, and all of these things, and all of the judgments I had. It was like, for a good 2 years, I would buck up against experiences that would just debunk those things that I grew up believing, or that I'd heard from other people and just took on as truth. And I thought to myself, okay, there's a line of truth here. Like, there's a thread of truth here that everything I hold judgment about seems to be getting shown to me to be maybe not all the way fact. And I was like, you're going to have to let go of a few things, Shem. And the more I've let go of it, the more I've seen like how much they can just thrive. But I just didn't trust that they could thrive without what I've always known, because I mean, it's not like, oh yeah, I homeschool. It was not that. That was not what the happening was. It was more, we have to homeschool. And then it was like, I think we really like this. And then it was like, this is good. That's how it was. It was definitely not, oh no, that's the way forward. Like, our oldest was in school for 10 years. Like, they did the whole school thing. It's now it's just, that's a transition where like we had to go through.
Also, I would add to this, for us, or at least for me, it was a humbling moment. Personally, a lot of the things that you think you know, well, it was proven to me that I did not. And even when you think you are ready to let go, well, you're not. And that's what I realized for me. So a lot of the resistance, difficulties was just because I was still trying to recreate some things that I felt I was walking away from. But in actual fact, I was doing a mini version at home, and that was not the right recipe. So for us, that really helped once we got over that first hurdle, which is not trying to recreate what you're walking away from. And why are you still hanging on to it? Was the real reason. And part of the reason was because judgments, and judgment on both sides, whether you homeschool or you don't homeschool your kids. So I found out that I had judgment on both sides in different ways. Some of it was like, okay, I had to break it down for myself as well. I said, okay, what is really the problem here for you? And it was like, because I still questioned if I was doing the right thing at the time. I wanted to homeschool the kids, and I had to say, but look, you've sent your children to school, but you were not happy with it. And everything was showing you that you need to find another way or be at peace with it. And if you can't be at peace with it, then you're going to have to find another way, no matter what it means, no matter what people are saying. And that was a big one, to just be like, okay, all right, that was the challenge.
And then so I had being the weird ones as well.
Well, yeah, but I realized why it was humbling.
Let's be real.
Why it was humbling is because I had to have enough understanding and compassion for the one who don't understand me, rather than being upset every time someone was questioning me. Because the only reason I was upset because someone is questioning my choices, because I'm not at peace with my choices. Had I been at peace with it, any question wouldn't matter. That was what really challenging for me.
That was the last. That was one of the last huge hurdles.
Yeah. So it's nothing. It's not a superpower because you can homeschool your 4 children. That has nothing to say with it. It's purely a switch. Slack OBEs is like a switch.
You have to allow.
Let's find the switch and be like, okay, that feels better now.
Yeah,
so that's what it was for us.
And it's not for everyone.
No, it might not be, exactly.
And it's not for everybody. And there's so many different ways to do it. The community of homeschoolers is massive because it's going to very much come down to a tailor-made version of what you think education is or how you would like for your children to gain knowledge. So whether that's going to be, for some people, it's like they go to school, but I debunk it. Or they go to school, but on the weekends, they are telepathic. It's you everyone in some way, shape or form does their own form of it, but they just don't call it that. And then there's and then there's other people who's like, oh yeah, my kid goes to school, but they're going to be a Formula One racer, and this is really them. And it just comes down to how tailor-made do you want your child's education to be, and does the education system suit them, and are they thriving? And can I make that work with my life as well? And it's an individual choice between the parent and the child. Can I do it? Can I provide it for them? And can they thrive in it? And that relationship. And
my kids want to be homeschooled.
Yeah.
They ask, can I be homeschooled? I was like, I'm like, I would love to. I want to, but I don't
I feel that. The first, and I tell everybody this, the first year was tears. It was hardcore tears from me. They were fine. I bawled most school days.
Well, honestly, the first year, I just was able to look back. Well, not right away, but after a while, I was like, "Oh, this is us." I was literally, trying, to recreate school, right? That was a recipe for disaster because it's like, how can you recreate something you're walking away from? It just didn't make any sense. But that took a while to realize and trust and. So so after a while you just get used to it, and you stop judging as well. It doesn't matter if someone homeschooled the kids or not, because the truth is, if you're going to recreate what school does at home, you're not debunking anything. As opposed to what you're doing, yes, they're going to school, but guess what? I make sure that they know this, they know that. So either way.
Yeah. And then we had to work out how we're going to do this so that it works for each child, because they're not all the same. where one excels in this, another one excels in that, and how do we support each one of their ways to learn? They don't even learn the same. One of them's like totally like, if you give me something audio, I got this, and the other one's more visual and tactile, and then you start learning there's so many different ways to learn and how to accommodate per child. So how is it going? It's going how it's going depending on the kid.
Yeah.
So we're just fine tuning with each kid, and if one kid says, no, I need books, I need whatever, I'm gonna be like, not my department, there is a school down the road. Because that would be that, wouldn't it? That's what that does. But and that's fine as well. And staying open has relaxed me so much. Like, I'm not closed off either way. And that's just been like, oh, whew, pressure's off now. The pressure's off. So yeah.
I think your stories are inspiring. I think whether you decide you want to have a YouTube channel or as long as they get shared within the community, whether it's on Discord or on a podcast, it is important. And I think that today, I think you brought the idea that it can be smooth, it can be joyful and exciting.
Yeah.
And we love the fact that there's this different perspective and you brought your own. I'm really pleased about that.
Yeah. It was like the sunny rainbow gazebo balloon version of it. And I love it. And I'm here for it because they just seem so fun, and it's just so joyful. You've got such a joy about you that I really appreciate. And really thankful for you sharing so openly with us. It's really lovely chatting to you about this.
Yeah.
So with all that you've learned and all that your journey has shown you just up to now, it doesn't have to be set in stone. In your opinion, in your knowing, who are we and why are we here?
We're here to experience what we're not on the other side. And my knowing is that the veil is lifted for me, and for me to share my experience, I hope the veil lifts out of everyone with regards to fear, ignorance, and doubt. Because we all are connected to the divine light, and just remembering that we're inherently connected all together. So that's just my note.
Lovely. It's been beautiful talking to you, and happy travels, happy soul travels. Okay, guys, that's been Stacie. And if you want to reach out to her, she's always in the chats around all of this, like whether it be Corey, whether it be us, you will always find the sunshine. Look out for sunshine. Okay. So it's been lovely having you on, Stacie.
Thank you so much for having me. And I love you guys so much. Like, you don't understand. It's always it is really a joy to just co-create with you guys and everyone.
Likewise.
It means a lot. Thank you, Stacie.
Love to you too. All right. So that was it, guys. And ciao for now.
Ciao.